Hi everybody and welcome to Blue Lily's Video 101 class. We're excited to teach you about the awesome family video process that we do that we think you'll enjoy a lot. My name is Wendy and this is Tyler.
Head nod.
And we make up Blue Lily. We reside in Salt Lake City right now where we love to meet new clients and take photos and videos and sometimes photos and videos. So we're excited to share with you all of our knowledge. No holding back.
Except for the really important stuff.
Some of that.
Okay, so we're going to start just really simply with equipment. So we started out shooting pictures, and then we moved to shooting both pictures and videos. And as a result, our video equipment is pretty similar to our photo equipment. So I'll go through that. Yeah, perfect. So what we're shooting with right now is the D800. We've shot both with Canon and Nikon DSLRs, and there's not really a whole lot of difference between them in our humble opinion, our very humble opinion. So you start with the DSLR, and now almost any new DSLR has video capability. And then the thing that we do a little bit differently on the video side is that we make sure that our lenses have stabilization. So if you have a Nikon lens, you'll see the VR, which I'm sure you actually don't see, but it's there. And then if you're on the Canon side, you'll see an IS for image stabilization. And both of those things mean that the lens is doing its part to help you get a steady shot. So for video, it's very important to us that our lenses have vibration reduction or image stabilization. So we shoot with the 16 to 35, which has vibration reduction, and we also shoot with the 70 to 200, which has vibration reduction. And we actually shoot a lot of video with the f4. We own the f2.8 also, but the f4 we just find is a little bit easier to keep steady. So if you already have the 2.8, which you might, it's perfect for that. It's just a little heavy. And then the third lens that we use is just a portrait lens. And the lens that we use is the 85 1.4, but any portrait lens will work great. But portrait lenses in general do not have image stabilization, so you just have to make sure to be really steady when you're taking those images of just the single kid, sort of like a portrait, as you would in photography. So, and then later on, we'll actually show you in Final Cut how to stabilize your video if it gets a little bit more shaky than you wanted it to be. But a good first step is making sure that you're using a lens that has vibration reduction. So, and then we'll also show you just techniques about how to handhold and shoot. We used to shoot a lot off tripod or with sliders or with stabilization, like a Steadicam. But we find that the way that we like to shoot, which is a very homey feeling in a very quick session, really lends itself a lot better to the way that we do shoot, which is just basically showing up with our camera and our lenses and our smiling faces. Okay, so I think that's it for cameras and lenses, and then Wendy will talk to you about how we deal with white balancing.
Now, when we're out in the field, what we want to really pay attention to is the white balancing and making sure it's consistent from shot to shot, from clip to clip. So we use the ExpoDisc white balancer. And you can use anything like this, but it's basically something you pop on the front of your lens that measures an 18% gray. And then on the camera end, what you're going to want to do is make sure your white balance is set to custom on a Canon or preset on a Nikon. Just to run through that really quick, on a Nikon, you are going to pop this on. And the way we do it is we face our subject so that the lighting is coming in to the photographer. You're going to push down white balance and scroll the wheel over to where it says pre. So that's going through cloudy and shady and sunny and all those things, all the way to pre. You push it down, hold it until pre starts to blink, then take your picture. And if you did a really good job, it'll say good. And if you did a bad job, it says no good. So that's how you take a white balance. Now, every clip you take in that lighting situation will use that preset. When you move the camera and now you're backlit or you're open shade lit or whatever, then please take another reading just to keep consistent throughout all the clips. On a Canon, The way you take a manual white balance reading is by putting the cap on, going to your menu, going to custom white balance. Then you'll take a picture and it will ask you, do you want to use this picture for your setting? And you just click OK and you're good to go.
Awesome. And so then as far as equipment, the other equipment that we use is we use Macs, and as a result, we use Final Cut Pro. Now, if you're on a PC, you won't be able to use Final Cut Pro, but you can use something called Adobe Premiere, which is similar, but it's not what we use, so we'll be teaching Final Cut Pro. And Final Cut Pro recently Apple dropped it from like $1,000 to $299, so it's pretty reasonable for what it is. And if you're going to shoot a lot of video, I think it's a worthwhile investment because it really makes it a lot simpler to get color correction right, to edit video. I mean, just everything that we'll walk you through is pretty easy in Final Cut Pro. And they actually made it a lot easier in the last iteration, which really made a lot of serious videographers kind of mad. But for you and for me, I think it made our life easier. So I really like the new version of Final Cut Pro.
Perfect. So that's basically the equipment we use. And again, like Tyler was saying, we use this equipment because it's the easiest way, it's the fastest way, and the most homespun yet professional way to present a client their video.
Yeah, so we shoot a lot of families, as you might also, and so as a result, we really wanted our video sessions to be short, just because the attention span of a lot of the children is short, as you know from photos. So we're already adding time on to our photo shoot by doing video, and we didn't want to like triple or quadruple the time we were shooting, so that's why we shoot the way that we shoot.
Mm-hmm. Our goal is to get you through this video series and able to start practicing taking the video in an hour or less.
Yeah.
And editing the video in another hour or less, or even much, much less.
You're welcome.
Okay, so now let's talk about how to actually shoot with this camera.
Okay, sweet. So a lot is the same when you're shooting video, but some is different. I'm going to focus on what's different. The first difference is that instead of looking through your viewfinder, you'll be looking at your screen. So you just use live view when you're shooting video. And first, I'd like to talk about focusing. So with focusing, you have a couple of choices, and really it's your call. You could just use autofocus and continuously autofocus by just paying attention to where your square is on your viewfinder and pressing your autofocus button will grab autofocus. The reason it's not ideal, and newer cameras are much better at this than older cameras. So if you have a brand new camera, maybe it's worth playing with to see whether it meets your satisfaction. But the problem is a lot of times when you autofocus with the video camera, the same thing happens with when you're shooting stills, but it doesn't matter. But the autofocus hunts a little bit, so it'll kind of jump back and forth, which makes your image sort of jump in and out of focus, which it's not the end of the world, but to me, I prefer to manually focus once I've grabbed that initial focus so that my focus is nice and smooth and I don't have that jumping, jerky motion in my video. And obviously, manually focusing is a little bit more tricky than autofocusing, so it's your call. My opinion is that manual focus looks better, but you could try it out and see what you like better.
So you're saying you grab the focus originally with the autofocus, and then as any movement occurs, you're focusing.
Exactly right, yeah. So a lot of shots will have the families moving toward us, moving across screen. So any focus other than the initial grab of focus, I do manually, just by, twisting this little guy. So, yeah, and it is harder, so I understand why your inclination might be to not use it, but if you practice it and get good at it, my personal opinion is that your video will look better. Okay, so...
yeah, how about recording?
Yeah, how about recording?
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that. I mean, you're going to want to record the stuff.
You are.
Most likely.
First, put in a memory card.
Yeah, step 1, memory card. Step 2... it depends on your camera a little bit, but like with this camera, I've got a little switch that switches me between photo and video. So I just go to video, and then I just push this button right here.
Bingo.
And then all of a sudden I'm in video mode, and then all I have to do at this point is push my record button, which is going to be different, but it's going to have a red little dot. Once I push that, I'm actually recording. So that's how you record. Yes?
Easy as pie.
Easy as pie.
Okay,